Welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast counting down everything this week that made you say, what a time to be alive. And now, Patrick Monahan, Kath Barbadoro, and Eli Uden.
Folks, welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast that counts down things each week to make you say the thing that's the title of the podcast. I'm Patrick Monahan.
I'm Kath Barbadoro.
I'm Eli Uden. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey. I like how you often do a hello after we introduce ourselves, and it's like varying percentages of Don Pardo every time.
Yeah. Hello.
It's like not quite, but it verges.
We could do
musical guest.
Just hire somebody to do an imitation of a dead man for the intro of our podcast.
Nothing morbid about it.
Nothing strange about it. Totally fine. Everything is fine.
Wait, Patty, I need to ask a question. We were talking about this right before we recorded.
As per Kat's previous email.
Well, we were just talking about it, and then we hit record. You've never had kombucha before?
That's correct.
I feel like I'm gonna sound like a real fucking ivory tower latte sipping asshole.
Liberal.
But that is surprising to me. I feel
That's not. I'd go medium surprising.
That is indeed a tasty beverage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I drink it all the time. I feel like it has become a very normal bev. Like I just see them a lot.
I don't think I understand what category it's in because it has some alcohol in it, but people are drinking it like. Is that something you would bring to work and drink and not?
Yeah, it's not
like getting drunk.
It's like it has like less alcohol than an O'Doul's does. It's not like it's not like booze.
I think the only thing I remember was like at some point somebody was trying to do a thing with it where they were doing kind of like scare tacticsy stuff where they were like it could make somebody relapse because they don't say it's alcoholic, but it's like it's like O'Doul's or whatever.
I think they do have like it. Yeah, when it first became like popular in the U.S., I think there was some controversy about labeling because it does have alcohol in it. Like I think it is like some of them say like you probably shouldn't drink this if you're under 21 or under 18 or something, but it's not like illegal to drink it if you're under those ages. I don't think it is like possible to get drunk off them because your tummy would be like, why are you filling me with bacteria?
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's
like those good I don't know if you guys have seen those like funny like short reels type thing that one guy does that's like he plays like a straight edge guy who like quote broke edge by like having kombucha or something. He's like, what dude, no, like you don't get it.
Like, that guy's great.
Yeah. I feel like most people, like the average American, not surprised if they don't have kombucha. But we live in, like I said, we live in latte sipping asshole ground zero, and every bodega's got it. Like even the janky bodegas have it now. So
I think I would have predicted exactly what Patty said before we started, which is that I would have predicted that as in a none of my business sort of drink for Patty. Just not interested. Do not need it. Things
do
are
not
going
have the time to figure this out. Yeah.
I think it got tagged fairly or unfairly as like a preemptively exhausting like hippie asshole thing, and I was like, I don't need to get involved. in this.
It's a deeply obnoxious bottle. Like
it looks like you should be holding a cotton ball against the end of it, the bottle that you're drinking out of.
Yeah. It's very apothecary.
Before you put a Band-Aid on.
It's a very apothecary style bottle, and I think I bought one once and was like immediately annoyed. You know, like the disgraced Kanye, but the tweet about the water bottle on planes, where he's like, "What am I supposed to do?" Which I won't defend many things he says. I will defend that. I do get annoyed when airplanes give me something that I have to take care of.
You have to just tote around.
The Diet Coke can?
Oh my! Or they're just like
sit on the tray.
Oh, here's basically
no. I like when they give me the can because otherwise they give me a thimble full of Diet Coke.
Yeah, I asked for the can, but the bigger thing is the thimble full of Coke, but also filled with cold ice that's gonna melt, and you're definitely gonna knock over because you're a big lug.
I want the square ice cubes.
Yeah.
I want one ball. I want like at a mixology place. They should have just a bunch of little things where they just crack it open and it's this sphere of ice.
I need the flight attendant to be chipping ice off a big block.
asking
Make me a Diet Coke smash, please.
Hey, do you guys have an ice press in there to make spheres of ice?
Do you guys have whiskey stones?
It looks like you're drinking hydrogen peroxide, Kath. That's what that bottle looks like.
Do you have whiskey stones?
They don't all come in an annoying bottle, but this does look like rubbing alcohol or something for sure. It's like, why does it need to be protected from light?
Yeah.
What's
That looks
in
like
here?
it came from under the bathroom sink. Like that is what you're drinking right now.
Hey, I don't know what you guys have on this flight. I don't know if you guys did a Secret Santa recently, but if you have whiskey stones, that would be great for me. Just kind of some cubes of basalt that I could drop in.
The perennial, I know we've just gotten past this because it's no longer Christmas, but like the perennial gifts for men list is always so funny to me. Like it's like, I don't fucking know, whiskey stones, I guess.
Gifts are
Does he have
Men in your
beard
life.
oil? Get him some fucking beard oil.
A set of mustache combs.
Yeah.
Soap that isn't gay.
They are like written by like a 6-year-old that's trying to buy gifts for his dad and like doesn't understand. It's like just like one thing that they sees his dad do, and he's like, that's everything he does. Those are all of his hobbies. His tiny
Mug
mustache
made out of
combs.
baseball bat.
Mug made out of baseball bat.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, I'll
It's
give it
just
up.
like, yeah, I don't know. Every single year, it's the same stuff, which is very funny to me.
It's replaced like the tie because people were like, well, we can't do ties because people make fun of it. So
People don't like wear ties enough anymore most of the time,
Yeah.
unless they're very important. So,
My dad's always
Yeah.
trying to unload his suits on me. I don't know how to tell him.
isn't
like,
your dad like a foot shorter than you?
it's every part of it doesn't make sense. It's like
Eli's gonna start going for like the like the.
I
showing
look
off
like
your
David
socks
Byrne.
level. Yeah,
mean-
like the J. Crew circa like 2013 or something, where everything was like super short, like
Tom Brown.
capri everything.
the Tom Brown era.
Yeah, the Tom Brown pants. Yeah.
There's a guy who, it's funny because that's exactly how that works. Anyone who doesn't know, Tom Brown was like this very, maybe still popular, but like
He's still
huge
popular, for
menswear
sure.
designer that like whole thing is like very shrunken suits. And there's one guy in my neighborhood that wears a full Tom Brown suit like all the time. I just see him walking around. And it's funny because every time I see him, I'm like, that suit is way too small. And then I see the little Tom Brown tag and I'm like, very cool. Like, I'm so brainwashed by it because I'm like, when I don't know it's Tom Brown, I'm like, you look crazy. And then I'm like, oh, and you're just
Very
very,
nice.
cool. Very nice. Yeah, no, my dad, that's the thing. He's always trying to unload his suits on me. He'll probably listen to this because he has confirmed to me that he listens to the beginning of the podcast sometimes.
Oh, hey, what's up, Eli's dad?
Yeah, he's like, it's, I don't know if I can listen to, he's like, to be fair,
Diamond
he can't make
Dave.
it through most TV shows. So, but yeah. and I'm
Metrics
like,
bear that out generally. That's the typical. He's a typical user. Although
Yeah.
most people listen to. We have I think we have a pretty good listen through rate, but a lot of podcasts, yeah, it's like
Diamond
dad's
Dave is really
dragging
bringing
it
down our
down.
averages. Yeah.
it's fucking up our stats.
But yeah, it's just funny that he's trying to give you your suits because I know you are as had been established on the podcast. Eli is very tall and also adopted, and his parents are not giants. And so I just imagine you and your parents as like that Diane Arbus photograph of the giant. I'll put it in the chat.
I thought you were going to say like it's been established that Eli is a bit of a fashion guy, and instead you're like it's been established that he is a huge man with no parents. So
It's been established that Eli is the biggest orphan, the world's biggest orphan.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a mix of stuff where it's like I don't think it would really fit. It would like be too short, but also I mean these are from another time, so they're like huge and like big lapels. I would look fucking insane.
right. No, Eli's a hype beast. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
You're a snappy dresser.
Yeah. I've had
Eli
to,
pays attention.
I've had to phase out some of the more like outwardly hype beasty stuff. I mean, I would never have said that that's what I wanted to look like, but certain things that I'm like, this is a young man's game, you know.
I have not seen the poker chips jacket. This winter
The
yet.
poker chip jacket is on the ropes. That is getting a little much to be wearing.
I still like it. It also hasn't been cold enough, but yeah, Eli has a puffer that is covered in this poker chip print it's flashy. I'll say that. It calls attention to itself.
I have never gotten more compliments on a jacket specifically on the subway than I have in that jacket. I'll tell you what. I will tell you what.
That's a jacket where you get a compliment from the bouncer who's about to show you porno on his phone as well.
Are you talking specifically about the bouncer that showed me porno on his phone?
Well, that was just a reference I knew that you had made before.
And it wasn't porno. It was a video of him getting his dick sucked.
That's so much more insane.
I mean, that's porno, though, technically.
No.
That is wild.
Hey man, check this out. It's like, what are you showing me?
He was playing like Clash of Clans and he closed it and then showed everybody was getting his dick sucked.
When they maxed out, they are North America.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You have to say it's cool or he won't let you in.
Hey man, cool dick.
Nice dick, dude.
Bring it to the White House.
She seems to
Cool dick, man. You want to bring it to the White House?
She seems to like it, I guess, in this video. So congrats.
She wasn't prominently she was prominently
She
featured.
wasn't prominently featured. It was mostly the dick.
Get out of the shot. Get out of the shot. It's like, what am I doing here? What is this?
You're crowding the shot.
Yeah.
Really disagreeing with this.
I mean, I've only become like without the hair, I've only become more bouncer looking, anyways. So pretty recently, I got asked to cover for somebody at a bar.
On a door?
Yeah, they said they had to go. They either went to get a sandwich or went to take a shit, and they were like, "Can you sit here?" And I sat on the stool and checked people's IDs for like 10 minutes. Pretty cool.
If you're over
fun.
a certain like height or weight, preferably both, you do have to sort of learn how to check IDs, just like because
Yeah.
you will be. You're like a first responder for IDs.
Yeah, I'd have to
bar
go down
doors.
to ground zero and check everyone's IDs.
Well, it's just like you just got to know because you never know when an emergency is going to
Yeah.
arise. You know,
right, and then you have to know how to like dial down any kind of jovialness you might have to project the right thing depending on the
Right.
place.
Man, just on the topic of height and weight, I know we've talked about this before. I don't know why I had an inkling to check this. I've lost a little weight recently. Thank you. But I was like, I wonder what my BMI is now, and I was reminded that if you're over like 6 feet tall, it's so. I was like,
you have to be like 150 pounds or something.
it wanted me to be, I think, like 200 pounds, which I would look like a daddy long legs. I look like a slender man. That's not right. So.
Slender Man is of optimal health. He is what the peak male form looks like.
Yeah,
The
I had a
peak
fun
cryptid form.
I had a fun thing at Thanksgiving where my cousin was like, because I said, everyone's got that old chair that like, like Thanksgiving was like, you got to bring out every chair in your house, and there's one that's like on the verge, and so you put like the lightest relative. You put like,
Yeah.
and so
You really do get to see like holiday dinner does double as household chair inventory. You get all of them in there.
Yeah. So there's like these two chairs that are very nice chairs that are like family. My fucking mom's, someone in my mom's family like embroidered them themselves, but I'm also not allowed to sit on them because, as we noted, I am a troll with no. And so I was like, maybe you're gonna have to sit on it. And I was like, I had to be like, is this a chair I can sit on? And then I was like, is this a chair you want somebody who weighs 245 pounds to sit on? And my cousin was like, you weigh 245 pounds? And then I got to call my cousin. This was all in good fun. I got to call my cousin who has 2 children a shrimp. I said, not all of us are shrimps.
Got him.
Sat down.
Nice.
And I was in control for the first time.
Shrimp's a good one.
Yeah.
Where did that come from, by the way? Shrimp like aren't exactly that small, like even among sea creatures. You know what I mean?
Like why don't we call people like a plankton or something?
Right.
Why are we calling them
plankton?
shrimpy?
I mean, obviously it has a great sound to it. Like what I mean? Like it's appealing to hear.
Yeah.
But
What about those baby shrimps?
those guys? Sure. Yeah. But I guess I'm thinking about jumbo shrimp. So
I mean, you have to affix the jumbo to it,
right.
because although I think that's they're only called that when they're food. They're not called that when they're alive.
No, they call them
jumbo shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah.
My man's thinking about langoustines. My man's thinking about prawns. Okay.
I just Googled it to see if maybe shrimp were named because they were small, and those things like those words like meanings developed in parallel or something. But nope, that is not the case. We call people shrimps because they remind us of the little tasty guys.
Yeah, they're kicking their little legs, and they got a big stripe of shit on their back. They call them a shrimp. That's what it comes
you
from.
got to be deveined before somebody can eat you. It's like, all right,
Hey, buddy, why don't you get deveined and come back? You a little shrimp.
You got a little stripe of shit on your back, man. You're a little shrimp.
Yeah, man, you shit your pants and go down a slide, little man? What's going on there?
Yeah, most people prefer when your head and stuff is not on you when you're on the plate because they don't need to be reminded of what you were like when you were alive, which is like a bug.
Yeah.
They don't need to be reminded that they're eating a mass casualty event of shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't somebody leave your shell on and then bury you under a whole plate of spaghetti and make me find it, little man? How about that?
What is your discarded tail going to make a dog throw up on the street?
Could dog dry heave while I'm walking it?
How do you feel about having your body parts be litter for another species? Mm-hmm. Just all over the sidewalk, killing dogs.
Why don't I get you and 7 of your friends and hang you on the side of a martini glass filled with a delicious spicy sauce? Man, now I have a craving for cocktail shrimp. That's a new one for the podcast. Craving cocktail shrimp.
You're calling a cocktail shrimp, not shrimp cocktail? Is that a new?
I mean, tomato.
I've never heard cocktail shrimp in that order before. I don't think.
I feel like I have in the sense that like a cocktail shrimp is when there is a cold cooked shrimp in a display. That is one cocktail shrimp.
It's a question of perspective, you know. It's like the two faces that are also a vase, you know. You get a shrimp cocktail, which is 6 cocktail shrimp, and that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And it's obviously redundant to call them a shrimp cocktail shrimp, you know, because
right.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be like a shrimp from a shrimp cocktail. Like that's such a mouthful. You can simply just say. A cocktail shrimp. I know what you mean. It's cold and it's cooked, and I'm gonna dunk it in some spicy sauce.
We already had this mess with shrimp scampi. Somebody really biffed it on that one.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. We're like scampi is a type of them, but also a preparation. I don't even want to think about it. I'm getting stressed out.
You guys ever think about the fact people have been listening to this podcast for like 5 years? We're still cracking open shrimp cocktail. Year 6, whatever it is.
I wish I was cracking open shrimp cocktail. God damn.
Yeah.
That's
one of the seafoods that would not do well in a can. I would not buy canned shrimp, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they sell it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we do numbers?
Sure.
Numbers time?
Number 5.
Number 5 is from Kate, Speak Us of the House. If you would like to submit stories, you can join our Discord at the $10 a month level. Sorry, you can join our Patreon at the $10 a month level. Our Discord is free. But at the $10 a month level, you get access to the private Discord channels where you can submit stories like this one. The story is a story after my own heart as a born and bred New Englander. There's a Dunkin in Lynn, Massachusetts, which... If you know anything about Massachusetts and Dunkin', you know that is like one of the probably Dunkinest Dunkin' locations.
Yeah, that's really dialed up. Yeah, I agree.
It's like Lynn. You got a lot of guys like the Casey Affleck SNL sketch.
I see that they have on their sign outside. It doesn't say Dunkin Donuts. It says Lynn Dunkin. So it's like its own brand.
Dunkin'.
Yep.
That makes sense to me for Lynn, Massachusetts. But yeah, so this Dunkin' has been there for many, many years. And for the past 40 years, this Lynn resident, Fred Brown, has walked to Dunkin', it's a mile from his house, every day to get a medium hot coffee and a plain stick donut. 40 years.
Drank a lot of coffee today.
Exactly. And a classic order from Fred.
Yeah.
40 years. He is now 95 years old. He looks great, honestly. There are pictures of him. I mean, I feel like anyone who's like not actively dying at 95 looks great. Like, congrats. But I would not. I don't know if I'd say 95 for this guy. I feel like he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looks good.
I mean, he's walking a mile a day, so he's
walking
getting
2 miles a day because he walks to the Dunkin', then he walks
back.
back.
It's a mile each way. Oh,
I think so. Yeah. So good for him. He's 95. And the Dunkin' threw him a birthday party this week. He turned 95, and he's been a loyal customer. And they made him some personalized donuts that said, "Happy 95th birthday, great Uncle Fred," which is very sweet. With One thing that is a real wrench in this story, though, kind of the reason I wanted to talk about it today, is because they just casually put in here that one of the attendees at this birthday party is Cuppy the Dunkin mascot, which...
Cuppy.
Yeah, Cuppy the Dunkin mascot. We're all aware. Like, what? Dunkin has a mascot and its name is Cuppy? This is news to me. And I'm a Dunkin fan. Like, yeah. I'm a regular, Never seen Cuppy hanging out there.
As you can imagine in your head, he looks exactly like what you think. He's just a big cup with eyes and stuff.
He doesn't even have like a Dunkin logo on him.
He doesn't even have a lid.
Cup of yeah.
He's an open top black coffee that's just, I love him now. But I also, since we've seen this picture, I can't stop thinking about Cuppy like doing an event or making an appearance at my local Dunkin', which is about 10 square feet. And the absolute chaos he would cause trying to just like be like, Cuppy's here. And then the entirety of Cuppy being there is just people trying to be like, excuse me. And he's like, trying to let them through.
Just avoiding eye contact with both the suit and the guy in the suit as you try to move around him.
Cuppy would have to pay the guy who opens the door for you when you walk into Dunkin' $5. That's the scam going on at my Dunkin'. the unofficial door attendant of Dunkin' Donuts does not work there.
Dunkin' doorman.
Dunkin' doorman, yeah. But I mean,
the Dunkin' doorman goes to take a shit. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, can you cover the door for me for a minute?"
He's checking ID. He's gonna make sure you're 95 years old. This is like such a sweet story too. He loved it, right? They got some quotes from your hair.
Yeah, he had a great time. He was really happy about it. He thought it was really sweet.
Yeah, they'll never top this. This was fantastic. They gave him 2 sets of 95 $5. This is a confusing sentence. I believe they gave him 2 sets of 95 comma or whatever $5 gift cards.
I don't understand this. Where does that mean they gave him? So it says 2 sets of 95 $5 gift cards.
So 190 gift cards.
190 $5 gift cards. I think so, because it said they left him speechless.
Yeah, which shade to Mr. Fred. That's probably a lifetime supply of gift cards, my man.
Wow.
But yeah,
ice cold.
I know. I'm just joking. I like Fred. And then he said, classic old guy humor. After they threw him, he said, "Can I buy everybody a cup of coffee?" I was like, "You better." That many gift cards.
The Dunkin' people were like, "These can only be used on you. Actually, you can't spread them around."
Yeah, they're locked to your fingerprint. It's
yeah.
Can't sell them.
I was just gonna say I've met Cuppy, to be clear.
Yeah.
What was he like?
Eli and I were like, "What the fuck is Cuppy?" And Patty was like, "Oh, I took a picture with him."
Yeah.
The pictures of you and Cuppy are really good. So the Cuppy in the
hold on, let me download these to my hard drive.
Yeah, download them to your PC.
The Cuppy in the pictures from this party is like an off-brand Cuppy. It looks like, because he's white and he doesn't have a logo on it. But the Cuppy you met is brown and has a Dunkin' logo.
This is an iced Cuppy.
That's right.
I
believe it was in the summertime. It was at Jimmy Buffett. I believe that this Cuppy was he's supposed to be iced.
Did he put his boobs on the glass?
He's got this Cuppy's got a logo. The Cuppy it's just covered by his hand, his arm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that. Okay, so yeah, there's the hot Cuppy and the iced Cuppy. Eli does ask a good question though. Did the iced Cuppy put his boobs on the glass?
No, not that I'm aware of, because he was inside the venue. He was like, once you got through the tickets, he was in there, and because it was like a little pavilion, the place where the concert was. So, he was not out at the tailgate.
I mean, it's dangerous to put. I assume everyone at the Jimmy Buffett tailgate is well toasted. You probably don't want a mascot around people who are.
Dude, people at the Jimmy Buffett. Okay, we can talk about this because I had a similar experience last night. So last night I went to one of the monthly Billy Joel residency shows at Madison Square Garden. It was a lot of fun. It was an irony-free zone in a way that is very similar to Jimmy Buffett, because it's like just people who are like, this is like their thing. There are people there who like that's their. And man, if you want to see like 50+ ladies that are just like out of control, like like need to be repeatedly told to go back to their seats, like reacting negatively to that information because like no one ever tells them to do anything, that kind of thing. Dancing in a way that like is causing me like secondhand like pain, to see.
Oh, just that like weird disjointed hula motion,
and just like a lot of like, like I don't know, like just like I said this last night, like I wish I could live in like a world where I wasn't like perceiving myself from the outside and like so completely inhibited, because like it's just like true like real corny ass dancing, you know what I mean? Like this is like a free zone, and like a lot of like doing this point at the stage, like like
that's Billy Joel,
like doing like a rhythmic pointing, during like I don't know, moving out or take your pick of, but it was a lot of fun, but it was just like, man, these are people who like don't do this that often probably, and it's like
this is their night out. Like
they were occasionally a little
O.
annoying. There were younger people kind of about 10 rows behind us or so that for a while the guy was yelling after every song, "Play the Stranger." That was his like bit. Which was annoying, or which was funny, then annoying. I would have liked to hear The Stranger. I think it's a good song.
You never played The Stranger?
And then it was like a 3-hour show though. It's crazy that he does it, but it's only once a month, I guess, but he does put on a good show. But and then eventually that guy started saying Oyster Bay, which I didn't know if it was a reference to the place or there is a song from a 2005 Billy Joel album that I did not know existed, called like My Lives.
He wanted
something.
Crackers. He needed sustenance. He wanted some oyster crackers. He was
Oyster
yelling
crackers.
to his wife to get his crackers out of her purse. He needed a nibble.
I don't know when this changed to me, but I feel like it's common practice, but I find yelling a request to a band that's playing insanely rude. I don't know. I think it's so rude. It's just like, they're okay. Do you agree with me? Like, it's unless they ask for requests, I think it's rude. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think everyone expects them to play it. It's just weird. It's just
you're at Madison Square Garden, so it's more just like he doesn't hear you. You're being annoying.
Yeah.
Like, that's more what it is for me.
What a level of fame,
he's
too.
just being, that guy in particular is just being annoying because Billy Joel's like 5 miles away. Like,
yeah. Also, like,
I saw, I was at a show this weekend. Todd Barry dropped in and he was talking about how the Rolling Stones canceled a show because one of them had COVID. And it's like, first of all, anyone would be honored to get COVID from Mick Jagger. Like, everyone's going to risk that. Second of all, everyone is 5 miles away. Like, you can't get, even his other bandmates are like miles away. Like, you can't give people COVID and an arena.
Also, if you're going to Rolling Stones, like a lot of times people buying tickets, they're like, I want to make sure to see them. I don't know if I'll get another chance. It's like, if they're like, they have COVID, it'd be like, well, then they gotta do it. I'm not sure.
How long they're gonna.
I saw the Rolling Stones with a bunch of, like, when I was younger, and a bunch of my parents and their friends went, and it was like cool Billy Joel.
That was I went in 03 to the Stones,
I believe the MCI Center at the time.
I went to FedEx, so whatever it's called now, where the
oh, it's still called FedEx, and they haven't changed. It's still falling apart. So
I think it was there. It might have been at the Baltimore one. I think it was FedEx though. But anyway, there were like a group of older people, like same kind of age as the people that I was talking about from last night, like passing a cigarette like a joint. It was like it was just like,
that's awesome. I love that.
Hell yeah.
That's real. Like, this is my one night out shit.
Exactly. Like that was
one Virginia Slim.
Yeah, but I mean, and there was like a little pit down by the stage, and there was like one lady in particular who, even from like up in the 200s, was like going the hell off, like
in the
jumping
pit?
Up and down, just like really going nuts, as much as you can be going nuts in a Billy Joel pit.
Yeah,
Billy Joel pit.
But back to the request thing. Yeah, I do think it's rude. I think it's a lot
awkward.
it's a lot like at a wrestling show where like every section has one person who's trying to get bits off during the show, and that's what that was. But like, sometimes if the person hears you make the request, like it can go very negatively for you. Like, I'm pretty sure, like Ryan Adams, somebody kept requesting Summer of '69, and he like threw the guy out or like tried to fight the guy or something.
Yeah.
And then also this is the one I'm sure I've talked about this one thing because I think about it all the time. The singer of Deer Hunter, I don't know, or an Atlas Sound, somebody requested My Sharona for some reason, and he played My Sharona for an hour. He just played it for an hour.
That's pretty
just
funny.
the true
And it was
YouTube My Sharona.
You're all getting punished for this.
And it was like some kind of breakdown or something. There was other stuff going on, obviously, but like there was this thing in like, when was this? Like 2012. Yeah, I remember seeing it on like, I don't know, Stereo Gum or Brooklyn Vegan or one of those things. And it was just like, yeah, this guy, he just like, and there's a little bit clips of video of him just kind of just playing like a solo weird My Sharona by himself. And it's like, yeah, well, the guy got what he wanted, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to make you smoke the whole pack of My Sharona to teach you a lesson.
That is effectively, he gave him the whole pack. That's right.
Anyway, happy birthday to this man at the Dunkin'.
Dunkin'.
I'm happy for him. I think he'll live longer than 190 days, personally. But, but hey,
I'm not putting any bad juju on the man. I hope he's well.
I hope he's well.
Bye-bye. We'll issue an official best of luck.
Yes, absolutely.
If you like this episode, you should check out our bonus episodes at patreon.com/whatatimepod. This week, we talked about Tommy McNamara, friend of the show, former Once and Future Guests album recording.
We also debated about which non-food store you could survive in the longest with the food options they have available.
And tempers flare when the question of whether fruit by the foot is candy or not surfaces.
Let's do number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4, this comes to us from Bookmark 19. It's more, the VR world is back at it again, solving problems that probably you could do without VR, but hey, we've got it, so here we go. What this is there's a new thing that they're doing where they've used VR. It's part of a thing where they teach you, if you're somebody with anxiety, which is everybody, for good reason, I think at this point, they teach you a breathing exercise, and then you're like, here's how you do this breathing exercise. It's meant to calm you down, or whatever. And then they're like, all right, now let's try it. And then they put you in VR and make you deal with a terrifying monster. And they're like, all right, now do the breathing thing that we taught you so that you don't freak the fuck out. It, to me, seems unnecessary to test it to this level.
They put you in and make you play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And that's how they treat your anxiety.
Look, that game is scary.
I like the idea that this headline is that VR is helping to solve anxiety, but it sounds like the only VR component of this is helping to trigger anxiety.
Yeah. It's more of a
the
test
breathing
afterwards.
exercise is that's the part that's helping anxiety.
This feels very like I'm afraid of spiders, so they put you in like a thing and pour a bunch of spiders on you or
it's
whatever.
like 1984. Exactly.
Yeah. Not to
The
mention
rats, yeah.
that the breathing exercise that they're teaching you here is 4-7-8 breathing, which is you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, breathe out for 8 seconds. It's a very common breathing exercise. It does not take a lot of practice or whatever. I do it to like help me sleep sometimes. Like,
yeah, it's good stuff.
It doesn't, like, if you've been told how to do it, that's it. You know how to do it now. Like, so I don't think
you all know how to do it now.
Yeah,
Eli just told you.
Yeah, you do.
So get on those VR headsets.
There's details. You're like supposed to do certain things with like through your nose, out your mouth. I don't know, but so yeah, I would have just been like, okay, cool. And first of all, I'd been like, I already know that from Instagram. But then they'd be like, okay, time to get on the VR thing. They show them. Now, what it said in the story, it says scary monsters. And I was like, oh, I bet it'll be kind of funny to see what these monsters look like. Then they have an image of what the monster that confronts you in the VR game is. Kath is a goddamn badass, and she's, she fucking put her thumb under her nose like an anime protagonist, like, not very scary to me. I think it's very scary. It's like, I would just say for something that's like, if you're doing like a medical study where they're like, we're going to show you something scary, like, I feel like by nature, those are usually like a picture of a bear. Like, it's like kind of more controlled or something. This is what looks like a nude, distended figure that is in like a completely unnatural kind of like creaky walk pose with.
Yeah.
It's doing like a real Andy Serkis thing.
Yeah.
If I said this before, if you're a gamer listening to the show, he looks like Valdo from Soul Calibur.
Yeah. This is much closer to like Silent Hill than it is to like, oh, a scary monster to me. Like, it's like it will trigger things in your psyche.
They got to make it scary. That's what they're testing.
Yeah. And also I would say, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done any, like, have you done VR before? Like,
no.
Okay, so
Just
VR.
just virtual boy, which I feel like does not count.
Oh, you played Mario Tennis and got violently motion sick?
I played the boxing one. It was fun.
They used to have one at a Hollywood Video near me, and you could play. It was like Nintendo's bad VR thing years ago. It wasn't real VR, but it made you very sick.
It was a nausea simulator.
It was black and all the stuff that was going on the screen was red. That was like the aesthetic of it. And I was going to rent the system from Blockbuster. They didn't have it, and I rented a PlayStation, and the rest is history. So there you go.
Two paths in a wood. Yeah, so I have done VR, and I think I maybe said this like back, like we had a good VR setup when I worked at College Humor. I don't like. It kind of makes you appreciate like the limit of the human, or not maybe the limit of the human brain, but it's like no matter how jaded or whatever you are, you put on VR and your brain is like, this is real. Like it is very effective. Like you think you're gonna put it on and be like, this is goofy, but
as far as perceiving the stuff in VR as actually being around you, like I feel like perceptively. It's like very easy to trick your brain.
Like even if it's like you'll get put into a world that is like, you know, like PlayStation 1 level graphics, like you're standing on the edge of like a building made out of like blocks, but your brain is still like you are on the side of a building and you're in danger. Like it totally works. Knowing that, and I think I'd played like some like casual zombie type game in a VR, when they had those VR things. And that was like not real scary monsters, kind of like your standard zombie type thing. This would be fucking terrifying to do. Like,
I don't really see the
really
appeal
scary.
of like a first person shooter happening in VR. Like that just sounds like a nervous system aggravator to me, like in a way that does not seem fun at all. And adding scary stuff to it only makes that worse.
Yeah.
I like the picture in the thing. If I were in VR and I saw the creepy nude masked thing, I certainly would not be happy. I would not be chill about it. I don't think. I'd probably have to do some 4-7-8 breathing.
Yeah.
But it's not that scary to me. That's all I'm saying.
Cat's just like, no big deal. There's just like a big puddle of pee. Just scare me. But no, like, well, for example, we played Resident Evil 7 on stream, which you can watch if you subscribe to our Patreon. We have video of it. A little gaming thing. There is a VR version of that. So you can imagine, like, it's very scary. Do not like.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. So
I don't
just
need
think
that
it's
in my life.
Okay. Yeah. So they do this. This is like a guardian person who they did this to, and she goes, okay, they teach you this technique. And then this is a great sentence from this. They like first do some general VR stuff to get her used to this. After about 5 minutes of this, which is her on a rowboat in a tranquil lake, she said, I'm ready to begin the next stage of my training, the dungeon. So, yeah.
I'm ready to begin the next stage of my training.
Yeah, and this is basically, even though I know it's just a game, the immersive nature of VR helps to suspend my disbelief, and I'm surprised to hear my heartbeat thumping in my ears, which is basically what I'm saying. Like, you just are shocked by how much it... And then, so yeah, she's like, I guess they show your heart rate in the corner, and she's like in a dungeon, and then a prisoner gets dragged backwards out of sight, and then this monster jump scares you. This like horrible, naked, Silent Hilly, has like a cloth wrapped around its eyes.
Are you supposed to do anything to it, or are you just supposed to breathe while it's happening?
So they said this is horrible. Apparently this game, I don't know if this is like actually how it's programmed or they just tell you this. They say that it's because the monster is blind, as you can tell, because its eyes are covered with a dirty cloth, that it will follow your heartbeat. So you have to bring your heartbeat down in order for it not to know where you are.
Whoa! I want to play this game now.
Yeah,
I've turned a corner on this. Before I was like, just teach them the breathing exercise, and now I'm like, I want to play this.
Kath does
game.
VR. There is some VR. I'm sure they're out of business, but there were like VR bars. Not where you didn't really drink, but you could do VR. I don't want to in the city.
I don't want to share. I don't want like an open use VR.
They wipe them down.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to get that little harmonica looking thing that like stops anyone from being able to hear what you say in your VR. That thing they just announced at CES.
The mic, the feedback mic.
Yeah, the little a little bobo to honk on. little gamer bobo.
Yeah,
it's a pacifier. It's a gamer pacifier. It keeps you calm.
Yeah.
In this anxiety game.
So
Yeah, look this thing up if you haven't seen it. It's like it straps around your face, so you're gonna have the goggles strapped to your like eyes,
Yeah.
and then this thing strapped around your nose and mouth, so you look like I don't even know what to describe you as, like a RoboCop or something, like a nerd RoboCop, and it's so that you can talk, and I guess it's for slur capture, so you can say all kinds of stuff that nobody can hear outside the game.
Right. A slur capturing device. They're gonna invent all VR stuff to cover all our holes. Just every hole will be filled with
plug
VR.
all my stuff with VR.
Plug me up.
It's like the cone of silence from Get Smart, only it looks way more like a harmonica thing. So
Do you have a cone of silence and Get Smart? It's like a straight up D&D thing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's like a thing that comes down over like the desk or whatever the fake agency is supposed to be. I don't remember. I just remember when I was a kid they had that.
It'd be cool if it was the D&D thing and Get Smart. They were like, also now this wizard is going to cast Cone of Silence on us. Yeah, so this lady's like, she's like, I mean, it's her like trying to relate in journalistic way that she was scared fucking shitless. And she goes, I try my best, but the monster is too close and too horrible. Then
Last words.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And then also the researcher was like, I purposely gave you the really scary one. And she was like, cool, thank you. And then at the end she says, as for me, well, I'd be reluctant to go back into that dungeon. Which is just like I love the adult way of like, it's like your parents being like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't like this.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, which is also like, I don't think this as far as I know, this lady isn't like older, but like for like my parents or somebody who like isn't used to the level that video games have gotten to. Like if I made my dad play Resident Evil 7, I would be concerned. Like it would
He'd
be
pass away.
Yeah.
It'd be the end for him.
So yeah, apparently it didn't work. I mean, she knows the breathing exercise, so on that level it did work. But
That's so okay. So they're using VR to test anxiety treatments, and the test has been a failure. VR is too scary.
yeah.
Thank you, VR, for helping us.
Also,
it's also like if you're being chased by a monster.
Yeah.
It's reasonable to have anxiety. Like that's okay.
Right.
Like your body, like there's
sense.
a reason it exists.
But it's like, I get it though. You're trying to train yourself to have some control over your nervous
Like the
system.
therapist should just pull out a gun and point it at the person. Then it's like do the breathing exercises.
Yeah.
No, they do a VR and it's someone breaking up with you, and that's what you have to. You have to keep your breathing steady while someone tells you that you're really great, but they just don't think you're compatible.
Yeah.
And
And the other thing is like, this is like, I've literally told this to people when I've been in conversations where, if you talk to somebody who's like, I don't get horror movies, I don't get why people watch them, why would you want to feel bad? And I've been like, I watch horror movies and like scary stuff because it overwrites my regular anxiety. Because if I'm looking at this horrible monster, my whole brain is like, oh no, scary monster. And I'm not thinking about being like, what if everybody's talking about me? I'm just like, oh no, look at this werewolf. This is so scary.
I'm not thinking about all the stoves that have been left on in my apartment building if I'm thinking about, somebody getting chased by a slasher.
That's one upside of that whole fucking, I mean, it's all fake anyways, but the stove debacle, I was like, dude, if that means that I don't have to think about my building blowing up, give it to me. I don't trust 8 people that live above me.
That's a real common intrusive thought fear of mine is like carbon monoxide and then also just stuff spontaneously catching on fire because someone left the gas on. That's those are some big ones for me.
Check if you have a carbon monoxide detector. Check it out.
Or
we're a health
don't
podcast.
And tweet a bunch of insane shit and then find out like a year later that it was because you have a gas leak in your house.
If you're seeing
someone will respond with that tweet that's like your house about to explode.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy those. I saw a good Reddit one the other day.
It's always Reddit where someone's like whole ceiling is falling apart and they're like, should I be concerned? And everyone's like, you need to leave.
Oh no, it was a Reddit. It was like a Reddit relationship post, and it was like, "Why is my girlfriend being so weird?" And it was just like this weird story about like, she was making him silently making him a sandwich every morning and giving it to him and saying, "It's cold out there, better hoagie up." He was like, It's so weird. And then when I come home in the evening, she doesn't remember it. Like, is she gaslighting me? Like, she has a weird sense of humor. And then, like, a couple days later, it was like, yeah, there was a gas leak or like something like that.
Man,
yeah, I always enjoy those.
I saw an incredible, I wish I could remember where, it was just one of those meme things, but just like an absolutely perfect fake Reddit post that just like skewers like all of like the Ask Reddit thing, which was just a fake Ask Reddit post that was like, ladies of Reddit, what's one thing a man, an overweight gamer has done in front of you that has made you want to be his girlfriend immediately? Like, that is the undercurrent of like every question on there. It's just like, how do I please? But yeah, sorry to this scared lady.
Yeah.
Good luck with your breathing. It's a good breathing exercise. Check it out. It's calming.
What is 248, right?
478.
478.
Yeah, and get a carbon monoxide detector. Yeah, the Google
real,
Nest
do
one
it.
is pretty good, and you can and this way you can know if anything
Google
happens when
carbon
you're not at
monoxide?
home.
They're going to listen to my fucking carbon monoxide.
Yeah, I guess they can listen to it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, it does not have a microphone. I feel like that would have been reported by now.
Hooking my carbon monoxide detector into Wi-Fi.
It's also
so it can kick
extremely-
I don't
me out
want
of
the
my
NSA knowing my carbon monoxide levels.
Right,
so it can
exactly.
kick me off of Call of Duty if my apartment is filling with gas.
It shuts you out of all your devices.
Kicks me back
Make
to the
sure
lobby. You need to go.
Make sure you don't post anything weird. Just logs you out. But yeah, that is like I am very afraid of that. That is one thing that gas stoves are really nice to cook on, but I would like to not be kept up at night by things spontaneously lighting on fire. I'd be kept up at night by something else, I'm sure, but it'll be exciting to know what would replace it, you know?
Yeah. It's like a thought exercise. Scary one.
Exactly.
Number 3?
Let's do number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, this is some crime news from the New York Post.
Crime news.
Crime news. This is the first of 2 pigeon stories this week. We have a pigeon section on the pod. Exactly.
Yep.
Sounds like a bubbling cauldron with a pigeon in it.
Oh no.
Pigeon soup?
Pigeon soup. So this happened in Canada. This pigeon. This is weird because like they don't really talk about like how it was found. They just say that the pigeon is in jail. They apprehended and detained the pigeon in a Canadian jail.
Yeah.
So,
the cops put the
Ladies
pigeon.
and gentlemen, we got him.
They got a picture of all the cops and the pigeon on a shitty folding table, giving thumbs up. Yeah.
Well, that is like what I imagine. You go to Canadian jail, and it's like your only other cellmate is a pigeon. That's who you have.
Pretty good deal.
It's a pigeon in a little striped suit,
Walking up
playing
to a
harmonica.
cell, walking up to a cell and seeing a pigeon standing on the top bunk and a guy on the bottom bunk covered in scratches.
scratches and bird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this pigeon was detained. That was the word the New York Post used, detained, because they found him flying over Vancouver with a little backpack on full of crystal meth.
Yeah.
This pigeon had a little backpack. That's number 1. Who's making pigeon backpacks? That's wild.
Etsy.
But yeah, he had 30 grams of crystal meth with him. And I guess somebody was, that's probably what they did on the crystal meth is train carrier pigeons to deliver crystal meth.
They had to train the pigeon not to get high on its own supply.
That's true.
I'm looking at pigeon.
What other errands do you have us running for the DA?
I am looking up pigeon backpacks on Etsy. Unfortunately, I'm getting mostly backpacks with pictures of pigeons on them. Though there is something here that I would like to perhaps buy called the International Pigeons 2023 calendar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it a pinup calendar? Are they all sexy?
Yeah, they all have their titties out in the calendar. Yeah, but I'm sure you could get a little pigeon backpack made, right?
It'd be really cute.
Yeah.
Be very cute. I'd want to put maybe some little seeds in there or something, not
That's
not
cruel.
crystal meth.
It can't get in there.
I mean, I feel like they could probably get in there, right?
It'd be like
They
taping
can turn their heads pretty far.
like taping a donut to a cop's back or something.
The cruelest thing you can do. The cop just spins in circles all day
Yeah.
trying to get that donut.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess a pigeon could hold a lot of crystal meth, to be
They
honest.
said 30 grams. That's quite a bit. I would
Seems
say
like it.
That sounds like a
that's
lot.
about an ounce, I believe, a little over an ounce.
Yeah.
So
Were they using it to get the drugs into the prison? Was somebody
think
going to
that's-
meet it in the yard?
I think that might be what it is, because they captured it over the prison. Like
Yeah.
they didn't capture him somewhere else and send him to jail. They
Yeah.
didn't, he's not there awaiting trial.
I feel like the bars have to be too far apart for a pigeon, though. There's no way
Yeah.
that he's effectively, unless they put him in solitary. Maybe that. Put him in one of
They
those.
put him in the hole.
Pigeon in the hole.
He's communicating. He's cooing through the air shaft at his fellow hole residents.
Yeah. Just he's walking the pigeon down the middle of the hallway, and all the inmates catcalling the pigeon. all the cells are filled with Sylvester the cat, and he's trying to grab it.
Yep. They have to put him in protective custody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of info about this, but yeah, they saw him flying, and then I guess they're just like, they noticed that there was a little pigeon with a little backpack, and they checked it out, and it was full of drugs.
Yeah.
So this is apparently a new thing. They have not, at least in Vancouver, have not seen this kind of drug smuggling before. This is a new strategy. So somebody
Seems to
said,
have worked
quote,
great.
they have gone backward in technology.
if it ain't broke,
So-
don't fix it. As far as pigeons
Yeah.
carrying crystal meth. Also, no
Well,
shade to
apparently
the.
they've apparently people were using drones for a while, and the police got really good at tracking and
yeah.
apprehending the drones. They're like pigeons. That's our new.
But
thing.
also, drones aren't supposed to be like, if you see a drone, you're not like, it's migrating. A pigeon can escape suspicion a little bit because you're like, oh, well, those are around. Drones aren't just
Right.
around.
Right. You could just ask the citizens, to like throw rocks at it or whatever. If you see a drone, look, it's annoying anyway, right? So just take
God,
it down.
I would be so thrilled if that would be like probably my favorite thing cops would have ever done, if they told us, if you see a drone, it's on site, like they did with lanternflies.
Yeah.
If you see a drone,
I would
throw
love
rocks
to
at
smack
it.
one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but if you see a drone, it's like a fucking magic, it's like a special move in an anime where they're like, its user must be within 40 yards.
Right.
We have to kill the user.
It's carrying out some kind of purpose, whereas a pigeon is not. So, but that's why they were like, maybe they got the idea from the drone stuff, but since the drones weren't working, they went pigeon.
This is basically an episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from the new episode new season where they're in a jail. This is just out of that, I think.
Oh man, I'm just imagining like a buff JoJo pigeon.
Oh, hell
Pretty
yeah.
good.
It'd be cool. There's a hawk that has a stand. Anyways, nobody cares about that. But there is a bird in it that has like special powers. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Free this pigeon. He did nothing wrong. Get him out of jail. Just take his backpack. He's not going to tell you anything.
He didn't know he was doing it,
Yeah.
you know?
You're not going to get any information out of him.
Prove
So-
motive. Prove.
Who are you working for?
Yeah. Leave him alone.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 comes to us from Discount Yodeler in the Discord. This is a story from the world of the cinema and
The
it's
Cinemaverse.
the Cinemaverse.
The Cinematic Universe, the CCU.
Yes.
Yeah, the Italian authorities have accused Michael Bay, director of, among other things, the relevant movie here is Six Underground, which is a Netflix movie that I forgot existed. It's one of those ones that just passes right by.
Yeah, this is the first I've ever heard those two words put together.
Mm-hmm.
This movie does not exist.
It's fine. It's like a billionaire squad, a bunch of guys that fake their own death so that they can fight crime, from
Bunch of
beyond
Bruce
the grave.
Waynes.
But they're all rich. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I remember right, that's it. But
Let's do Batman
anyway, Michael Bay, the Italian authorities are accusing him, and it's him because he was the director, so the head of the production, of killing a pigeon in 2018 in Italy. And
On
it was
a wild night out.
yeah. So I guess
He got
pigeons,
fucked up and wrung a pigeon's neck.
I mean, pigeons are apparently a protected species in Italy. I'm not sure.
What?
If
That's
it's
insane.
well, I'm not sure if it's a particular kind. 'Cause like the pigeons that we know are like generally rock pigeons, and like they're found like everywhere. Maybe this is like a different.
These are
kind of
R&B pigeons. These are tarantella pigeons, not rock pigeons.
A homing pigeon, so it is a little bit more. Italy also has a national law that makes it illegal to, let's see, kill, hunt, harm in any way any kind of wild bird, I guess. So that's interesting.
Cats on trial.
Yeah.
All cats are felons in Italy.
So I guess, yeah. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on this because it was in 2018. I don't know when they brought the charges. I mean, it seems like this was like a big news story this week, but apparently this has been going on for like a year.
They've been investigating it for 2 years.
Yeah.
They're 4 years now. They've been investigating it for 4 years.
They brought the charges a year ago, and he apparently was offered a plea deal.
He pled out.
To pay a small fine, but he refuses to
We'll
plead
give you
guilty to
pigeon
having harmed
slaughter
an
1 if you plea out.
second-degree pigeon slaughter.
Yeah.
So what
Did
it
they
was?
say
So,
how?
yeah. So it was. It's not like It's not. This isn't like Cannibal Holocaust or something where like they killed a turtle, like on screen.
The pigeon death scene in Six Underground is gruesome.
Grotesque. Yeah.
Yeah.
It got hit by a dolly apparently during a take. So probably like shooting a car chase or something.
That's on the pigeon. That's
Yeah.
the pigeon's fault. Get
to
out
a
of the
certain
damn
Killed
way. You
is
can
like-
fly.
Killed is so generous here. Like a pigeon died. A pigeon just passed away during this.
Got Randy Johnson just feathers everywhere. No, I don't know. But I mean, and this is all because some person, an individual saw the incident occur, took a photo, and informed the police. So I don't know who this vigilante is that's out there.
What kind of maniac is on a film set with movie stars and takes a picture of a dead pigeon instead?
Yeah.
Psycho shit.
Yeah. But, somebody, the bird lover, right? I don't know.
Just texting a picture of a dead pigeon to
What's up? I'm
911?
at the Michael Bay movie set.
Please
Text
investigate.
Dead pigeon.
This bird is dead as hell.
It's taken
It's
upon
Michael Bay's
themselves
fault.
to draw a chalk outline around the pigeon where it got smeared by a dolly.
So really it's one of those headlines that it's like Michael Bay is charged with killing a pigeon. It's like, what? It's like, oh no, a movie he was directing, a dolly accidentally hit the pigeon. It's like, oh, okay.
No, man.
That's less.
He killed this pigeon after a, crazy night out with the cast.
He grabbed it by the throat.
Yeah, he wrung its neck. And they had to call his guy to come dispose of
cleaner,
it. His cleaner, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a guy. So yeah, so that's the story. I don't know where. I mean, he doesn't seem particularly worried about it. And
You said he refuses to plead guilty.
He doesn't want to have to. He doesn't want to have to plead guilty to having harmed an animal because he thinks the whole thing is bullshit. I guess.
Yeah.
Which
So he's refusing the plea deal. He's going to take this to trial.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess theoretically, I can't imagine they're going to really use the resources on that. But
he says, I am confident we will prevail when I have my day in court. So
it's one
there
of those
are
things
two
where,
sides to this story. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Italian courts look like. I mean, if it's any kind of based on other Italian civil services, it's probably a shit show like a lot of things over here.
I have some ideas about what an Italian court would look like, but I would get in trouble if I said any of them.
But I don't know how clogged they are, but stuff like this does not go to trial in the United States. You know what I mean? Like there's some kind of here's your, here's the fine you're going to pay anyway, but at least you didn't have to plead guilty. You're, whatever. So maybe he can do an Alfred plea or something.
I'm not even paying a fine, dude. The pigeon just threw itself
you
into
don't pay
a dolly.
fine. You pay the judge, and then it goes away. You don't pay a fine.
I think
that's what I think Italian court is like. No,
it's got to be like a strict liability crime because your mental state and culpability is they're not tied together because I don't know how you can shoot a movie which you have a permit to do from the city presumably. And all of a sudden you're what else could they have done to you know what I mean? To not hit that bird. It doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like there's anything they could have done, which is fine. But then maybe don't talk about a criminal proceeding and just talk about it's a civil, fine. You know what I mean? I don't,
Or just be
maybe
like,
it is just a maybe it is just a civil thing, you
try
know,
not to do this
and it's
again.
just being reported poorly.
Yeah. Hey, maybe next time check for pigeons, which you can't even really do because they fly in there. They're fast.
They're just flying around. They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what you should do is you have to have like an area where you attract them all, where it's safe. So you just throw a bunch of seed down somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
There's
they
a
go
PA
over
that
there.
has to spook all the pigeons away before they move anything, so it doesn't
Throw
get
a bunch of pizza crust down someplace, and that keeps them busy. So yeah, so that's that. I imagine this will just kind of go away at some point, but everyone got a good chuckle out of it.
Free
and
Michael
it
Bay.
reminded me of a movie that, like I said, totally forgot existed.
Yeah. I think you should have gone harder. I think you should have been like, I'm glad the pigeon's dead.
Yeah.
I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh wait, did you have more to say?
I was gonna say the new Michael Bay movie Ambulance is pretty good. If anybody has any interest, in
I've
that.
heard it's
That's-
great.
That's streaming in a bunch of places, I think. So
No pigeons were harmed either.
I'm gonna
not to my
you can
not
watch
to my
with
knowledge.
a clean conscience.
I'm gonna store all those movies up for a day where I have a marathon of movies where the name is just a vehicle. I'm gonna watch Ambulance. I'm gonna watch Plane.
Yeah.
Any others? Any other
Hot Tub
suggestions?
Time Machine. That's a vehicle.
Technically,
A vehicle
yes.
through time.
It is. The Hillcath dies.
The bicycle thief? No, that's the thief, not the bicycle.
Yeah.
Trying to think of more.
I'm
vehicle
psyched about
movies.
Plane.
Ship.
It looks sick.
I don't know if there's
Can't
a
wait.
movie called Ship. But it'd be pretty
Ghost
cool if
Ship.
there was. Titanic.
Ghost Ship.
Titanic, I guess, is a
Titanic?
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a great film festival you got planned.
Yep.
Titanic is coming back out in theaters next month, I believe. So
Titanic.
Planes, trains, and
Love it.
automobiles. Come to my film festival. I'm going to be arrested.
zero discernible sort of thematic thing other than just the titles.
Come
Not
watch
really
me
a
be
lot of-
arrested for screening movies I don't have the rights to on the side of a building in Brooklyn.
By the way, I got to see The People's Joker this week, the controversial one only screened one time, and then DC Comics was like, you're not allowed to do this. I got to see it the other night, and it's great. It's really good if you get an opportunity to see it, which hopefully it is like legal. Like they figured out like they are allowed to do it, but it is still being screened only very limitedly.
Is it basically like the Joker was right? Is that what?
It's this movie. It was made by this woman, Vera Drew, who works for like Absolutely. Like she's done a bunch of comedy editing for like Adult Swim and stuff. And it's like her retelling of the Joker story as a like trans woman like coming of age. And it's very funny.
Wow.
And it's really cool. And like it was a super huge collaborative art project where it's like there's like computer animation, 2D, stop motion, live action. It's really cool. It's really great.
I'm going to be honest.
And it's very funny.
Earlier you said you were like, I saw the People's Joker this week, and I just assumed that was a wrestler. So it's cool to know that was a movie. I was like, seems like a good gimmick, I guess.
No, yeah.
The Rock in Joker makeup.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Maybe we should do that. My wrestling guy is just the Joker. Like the guy who's just Hitman.
I'm kind of surprised no one's just fully been the Joker yet.
Yeah.
One of these days. Probably because DC is apparently pretty litigious because they tried to stop this movie from being
Yeah.
shown.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, but I will say that Lorne Michaels is a character in The People's Joker, and he is voiced by Maria Bamford, which is very funny to me. It's a good choice. But yeah, it's great. Check it out if you happen to be able to see it. I believe Vera, the woman who made it, is screening it in Philadelphia this weekend. So keep an eye out.
Check it out.
Number one.
And this week's number one reason to say what a time to be alive.
I'll just do the headline on this one. This one comes to us from Bookmark 19. Skeleton of man who dreaded becoming a museum exhibit will finally be removed from display. So that's
Justice.
that. This is not the funniest story. This is a insane, like just thinking about museums and this museum in particular, and how they are just like, hey, check out this weird thing. Apparently, and that seems to be the general impetus for the creation of this. So this is a British museum called the Hunterian Museum. It's a collection of anatomical specimens at London's Royal College of Surgeons of England. It's been closed for renovation. And they're going to be removing this skeleton from the display an 18th century man popularly known as the Irish Giant, who had acromegaly and gigantism. His body produced too much growth hormone, so he grew to be 7'7". As he got older, I guess I don't know how long he lived, but he made a living, exhibiting himself, just like, hey, come check out this tall guy, basically, as the Irish Giant. And before he passed away, it was apparently well documented that he wanted to be buried at sea to prevent his body from being seized by anatomists. But guess what happened? This guy,
his will was just do not research. That was his,
right.
Do not look into this.
I mean, do not, and his so this guy who founded this museum is Hunter. John Hunter was a surgeon and anatomist, which really drives
and
on
a
the
creep.
Drives on the fact that before I don't know 1900, a lot of surgeons were just sawing stuff off.
They were
and messing around
yeah.
with stuff, and just kind of
the line between doctor and carny was really thin until maybe max 100 years ago. I feel
right.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason that barbers were doing surgical procedures. The whole thing is just kind of crazy. It's not. Yes. Anyway,
that great Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack character, Dr. Barber. Are you guys familiar? Yeah.
I'm aware of Flapjack. I'm not aware of the character specifically.
It's just that, and it's you think it's very creepy, and then you're like, oh, this was a real thing where you just go and
this really happened.
Yeah, it was basically my husband's sick, and they were like, we're gonna do some stuff to him. And then either he's part of science or he'll be better. But it's
or his corpse will be baby smooth because we're barbers as well.
Yeah, we'll shave him. And
so there's a little bit of that I think that still is kind of floating around in medicine. When they have teaching hospitals and stuff, and they'll bring in the students. Oh, you got to check this out, or effectively. And it's oh, cool. Really feels good to be one of those people. It's I haven't seen anything like this in a while.
They did that to me.
Those big operating theaters where it's oh great, I'm glad my surgery has the stands. Right. I'm glad that's part of this.
When I had pericarditis years ago, it's unusual, I guess, for someone to have pericarditis when I was at my age, and I was sitting on a bed, and they brought a class to see me, and didn't talk to me either. They were just look at this guy, look at his chart, and I sat there, and I mean I was on morphine because they gave it to me, so I didn't really care. But it would, in
What's
retrospect,
pericarditis?
It's an inflammation of the sac around your heart, so it basically feels exactly like you're having a heart attack, but you're not. But I wouldn't recommend it. I would say
it sounds
don't
bad.
Do it.
Is that the same as myocarditis?
Which is
the vaccine / COVID one? I don't know. I know that's an inflammation around the heart or something.
I think myo means muscle, and then it's like the sac. Yeah, you get it's I had a stomach virus, and then they were it spread to your heart, and I was that seems bad. Anyway,
hey class, come in here. This guy's got a swollen sack.
I took an Uber to the hospital. It was cool. The Uber driver
we're gonna
was
get
pretty
this video
freaked
demonetized for mentioning.
One for the hospital, please.
I literally went onto Uber and I was like, hospital. They picked me up. Yeah, but
this guy he passed away, and this apparently John Hunter, the founder of the museum, paid his friends and arranged for his corpse to be snatched on the way to a burial at sea, and then took his skeleton out and stood it up and put it on display.
If the body gets snatched on the way to the burial at sea, do you still go to the sea? Do you still get on the ship? Well,
it says they
how
opened
far
it.
do you go before you pretend that before you stop pretending that you sold off your friend?
Well, it says they checked.
He's going to be on display, so it's more about making sure that no one knows you were the one who was supposed to be, delivering him to the ocean, not so much that you tried or whatever.
Even more fucked up reading this. Not only was this guy scared of being displayed, he was scared of this guy.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say the Wikipedia article makes it clear that the guy had already offered him while he was alive to pay for his corpse, so he knew this guy was all
Please
gassed
do not
up.
do this.
And he said, knowing he wanted his body for dissection, which apparently at that time was a fate reserved for executed criminals. So this story sucks.
Well, you weren't allowed to have any bodies for a long time, right?
I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of I mean, they like a lot of early sort of anatomy study was done on robbed.
Yeah,
corpses.
didn't Da Vinci have some guys that stole him some dead folk?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ethical stuff, like obviously scientific advances have to be done on the backs of some horrible things or were done on the backs of some horrible things, and not ideal. But
New York just passed.
But at the same time, like, what are you going to learn from this guy? He's just really big.
No, this guy was just doing it for an
they weren't
exhibit.
learning
He
it.
wasn't doing it for any
put him
kind
straight
of scientific
up
reason.
You put him immediately in a box. It was like,
Right.
check it out.
No. Yeah, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this was. I was just saying in general, the idea of like, dissecting a body is like, to learn about it. But anyway.
Yeah.
So this was purely for carny reasons.
It seems so, yes.
Yeah.
It does say
so.
too,
Yeah. So
And it's great how that morphed into an actual museum. Just
that's
an
the
absolute
thing.
creep. Also, by the way, this is Body Worlds. This is the same thing to me.
So this guy had a reputation for collecting unusual specimens for his private museum.
Unusual specimens.
Like the trustees of the hospital are like, this, our founder and other anatomists and surgeons of the 18th and 19th centuries acquired many specimens in ways we would not consider ethical today. Maybe just like close the museum.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's insane that this is the origin of that museum. But then again, it's the same thing as the Body Worlds exhibit. So I guess it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all museums are either... The Mutter Museum is kind of like this in Philly. I think they were like a little bit more medical, but there's a lot of stuff in there that was not obtained ethically, and it's like human remains and stuff like that. But it's also like, every museum either started as carny shit or as just like colonial theft. Like there's no good origin of any museum that was started longer than like 50 years ago, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return them to the earth where they would like to be. Just
Put it all back in there.
Curses. I do think it's also funny. He said that he wanted to be buried at sea. He also said he wanted to be sealed in a lead coffin, which seems like less of a grave robbing thing. And if someone was like, "You need to seal me in a lead coffin after I'm dead," I'd be like,
"I'm coming
what
back."
What are you? No, I mean, like,
what's happening?
Is going
I'm worried
on?
about coming back. That's what that means to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like
you need to separate all of my limbs and bury them in different countries. It's like,
right.
Because of grave robbers, or because are you the alpha and the omega? Like, what's going on here?
It's like that they opened that lead sarcophagus that they found in Notre Dame finally.
Yeah. If it's a lead coffin, you leave that thing undisturbed. That is.
It was apparently just some guy. There wasn't anything
was just
that
a
seemed
creep.
weird about him.
Yeah, people just
It
thought
was
he
just
was
a guy.
mean and shitty. Put him in a lead coffin.
It was the
guess so.
master.
Yeah.
The strain. That's who was in there.
Strain talk.
Yeah. So
Are they gonna bury this guy, or are they gonna throw him in the ocean like you wanted? I think they should throw him in the ocean.
I don't know what's going to happen to the body. I don't believe, but they are not displaying it. So I assume they're going to inter it and do some. Hopefully they just. Yeah, I don't know if they just dump it in the ocean or whatever. They should do it in a place where they don't let anyone know where it is, so no one else can get it.
They should put him in Dobby's grave.
Yes,
in a public sand dune.
there it is.
Yeah, I feel like
people can leave huge socks.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be like
from Christmas.
Yeah,
like socks.
I feel like when they put this guy away, there's definitely going to be like like something that rises, and then they're going to hear like a thank you. Like they're going to get it's. The world is going to be something's going back into balance when this guy is put back where he should be underground.
Yeah,
It sucks that he was on display for. When did he die?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was during Hunter's. It was in like the mid to late 70s. This guy is mentioned in
200
the Dickens
years
novel.
at least.
Mid to late 70s. Mid to late.
What?
No,
when
he
did
died in
die?
1783. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Sucks that he has been on display for 200 years. Get him out of there.
Yeah, but he was famous though. He was mentioned in in which book? David Copperfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
Name dropper.
Here's what you do. You dig up this fucking Hunter guy, put him on display. See how he likes it.
See how he likes
Yeah,
it.
museum of a big creep. Check out this asshole.
Right. This is
digging
the
people
skeleton
up.
of an asshole.
World's
This is what
biggest
it looks like.
asshole. Yeah.
This is what it looks like. Yeah.
he is remembered as a founder of scientific surgery. It's just
See?
like, well,
Well,
The line between medicine and carnyism, very, very thin.
he actually was the guy who first stitched together the mermaid, which is the monkey stitched to a fish.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fiji
the Fiji mermaid.
yeah. Not
Love
exactly
her.
what you'd like a mermaid to be anyways. You think it's going to
Yeah,
be a
I feel
sexy
like-
lady. No.
I feel like that's still disappointing.
Yeah.
Even though it is like the discovery of a cryptid or whatever. If you're like, check it out, I found one, and then it's that.
Yeah.
That's a bummer in itself.
Yeah. It's like so if someone's like, I found the Jersey Devil, and it's just like the top of a badger and the bottom of a squirrel, and it's like dirty. And you're like, I don't think that's just kind of a gross animal. I thought it was going to be like a cool guy with hooves and wings and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Exactly.
No dice.
That's my take. Well, congrats to this guy. I'm glad. I hope they throw him in the ocean. But whatever happens to him, it's better than being.
It's
being
funny.
in a
It's
glass
funny that we're
case.
talking about that as like the good thing. Just throw him in the ocean.
Throw him in the ocean. It's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Throw him in the ocean.
Down there with Osama bin Laden.
Plugs time.
Plugs time.
Plugs.
Patreon.com/whatatimepod. That is the best way to support the show. You got weekly bonus episodes, well over 200 now. We got, live show video. We got Roadhouse commentary track, Fate of the Furious commentary track. You get free shipping at our merch store, which is whatatimepod.bigcartel.com. All the links to all the stuff are at whatatimepod.com/links. And let's see what else. You join the Discord. If you join the Patreon at the $10 level, you can submit stories in the Discord. That's all the big stuff. We're on YouTube now. YouTube.com/@whatatimepod is the easiest way to get there. And I think that's the main stuff. Twitter, we're What a Time Pod. Instagram, What a Time Pod. whatatimepodcast@gmail.com. I believe that's all the main stuff. Give us a review on iTunes if you like the show. That's a good way to support the show too. And we thank you for your support and for listening and subscribing and all that. So that helps us do what we do. We are doing a live stream this month, which should be fun. We're doing that on the 25th of January. That's a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that out, and that's for patrons only. So sign up. And I'm Patty Mo on the stuff. I don't think I have anything to plug. So that's it for me.
I have a podcast called Lie, Cheat, and Steal. It's a true crime podcast about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. We just released a free episode about George Santos. What a doozy. What quite a bit to say. It was a fun one, so definitely check that out. Especially if you are familiar with the lies, but not the real stuff. We talk about like kind of what he was actually up to during that time. And it turns out it was more scamming. So very interesting. I'm Kath Barbadoro on social media, and I post my stand-up dates on there. So follow me there.
This week, if you're listening to this on Monday, January 16th. This Tuesday, I will be at Heart Bar in Bushwick doing a show at, I believe, 8 p.m. If you want to come see that, other than that, I'm just hanging out.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Hey, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.